Hey, Flimflam, there's a transmission signal coming in. What? Should I answer it? Okay.
No, go.
Hello.
It's probably a robocall about the ship's extended warranty.
Look.
Hey guys.
See, I told you it'd work.
Look, Flimflam. It's a human lady, not a robocall.
Sure, they all sound like a human lady. Then they tell you your ship's warranty is about to expire. That's not just a lady, Gorky, but she certainly has been a robot. That's Newt from Simple Tricks and Nonsense.
And that's Johnny Havoc.
Thanks, guys. We usually try to do our own introductions.
For those watching, this is Flimflam and Gorky, cosmic travelers, interstellar fans of pop culture.
Yeah.
So, guys, we called because we wanted to learn more about your show and try to get some behind-the-scenes facts.
Sure. What do you two awkwardly handsome humans want to know?
We want to know who's really behind Flimflam and Gorky.
Gorky, did you ever notice this before?
It's a first for me.
Is everything okay with you two?
Well, Gorky, I guess it's time to tell the truth.
What? That we love tinfoil?
No, you ding-dong, not that truth. Hey, where'd you get that?
I have my ways.
Anyways, no, the truth about our true identities.
Oh, that truth.
Hello, I'm William, and this is
Johnny!
Excuse me. You're excused.
Well, I'll start with the first question. How long have you guys been friends?
We met in 1992. And so, yeah, 30 years ago, I met this guy.
And I met this guy.
It's kind of a funny story.
And why did we meet?
We were, well, actually, you were already involved with building a haunted house for the American River Junior Colleges, the American River JCs, as they call themselves. And my sister worked at the same place as your mom.
Yeah.
And they crossed paths and started talking about,
kids.
sci-fi and stuff. Yeah. I mean,
well,
I'm kind of my sister's kid sometimes. Right. But yeah, anyway, so
phone numbers.
They exchanged phone numbers, and yeah.
Then I called you.
Yep, and we talked about sci-fi and what we were interested in. He told me about the haunted house, and it was called The Alien Encounter.
It's always having to do with aliens.
Yep.
Nice foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah, and Alien Encounter keeps coming up in our lives, but it was. They gave us the last quarter of the haunted house, where a witch would lead people through the first 3/4 of it, and then they'd get to our part, and instead of a bunch of rooms with jump scares in them, we used the whole last thing for like the
Sigourney Weaver alien adventure, like
yeah.
Aliens, like the sequel.
Yeah, so they would the witch would take you into the first part of the room where it looked like a ruined lab where a bunch of monitors were all showing static
and a countdown for self-destruction.
Yeah, so it looked like something had happened, and the witch would be like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then they go into the second room, and you got people cocooned into the wall, a bunch of dummies, and an actual actor that was made up. And they're all, and they reach out and please kill me and all that stuff. And then
and what's really funny, yeah. I'm really bad at spelling because of my dyslexia. So
Same.
When we're doing everything, I wanted to write The Colonist, Was the colonists?
I think so.
Yeah,
With the
where, all the colonists were up on, slined up against the wall. But instead, I wrote the colonists.
Colons, yeah.
Right, the colons.
Colonists.
Right, the colons. And so everyone was like, the colons? What is that? I was just like, anyway, yeah, so.
But yeah, then the witch sort of moved towards the next room, and an alien pops out of the wall and grabs the witch and pulls her into the wall. And we had people actually trying to rescue the witch as if it's not part of the show. But then someone dressed as a colonial marine would pop out of the third room and say, "Oh, come on, follow me, follow me. Forget her, she's gone." And once everyone got moved into the last room there, the marine would point behind where everyone walked in and say, "Behind you!" And there was an alien, a full
body costume alien
that was crouched in the corner that everyone just walked by. No one ever spotted it. And then it would stand up and reach out, and he would act like he was firing his gun. We had sound effects and lights.
And the aliens were made out of Nerf.
Yep.
They were really soft.
Yep.
They didn't look it, but
yeah. And so after the marine blasts the alien, the lights go out and strobe light comes on, and there was 4 other aliens that were in the walls that were reaching out, that were top half costumes.
Yeah, because they were melded into the hallway with the alien slime, so it just looked like it was just all the alien goo, and they were like this up against the wall, and then they would reach out. I was performing one of the aliens one night, and a guy actually was so scared he socked the head, and the puppet head flew off, and I was standing there shocked. That was fun. But the great part about that Halloween thing was we had an actor or a performer. He wasn't really that much of an actor, but he was an amputee.
Yes.
So we had the sequence where he's crawling on the floor going, "Help me, help me." His little stump is waving around with guts and stuff. And then the alien grabs him and pulls him back into the darkness, and that really freaked everybody out. So that
we had people get out of line and just go home.
Yeah,
after
there's
that.
we're not going. And so that was our first experience together. So there you go. That was the long.
That's
answer.
fucking epic.
It was. Yeah.
I can see why that would leave an imprint and this is gonna be a friend for life kind of thing. Because that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Besides the JC's haunted house in 1992, can you, what other projects, fan films, or other things of the Flim and Gorky style have you worked on together?
I think the next real project, besides working on costumes and stuff, was Net Raiders.
Yeah, and that we started that one in
93.
Yeah, 93 is when we actually started the concept.
So only a year later we came up with so the show Net Raiders was originally created by me and another fellow named Danny Shrum.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was going to be Cable Pirates because we were going to be on cable access.
Yeah, Channel 8 in Roseville. And then things didn't quite work out. And Danny Shrum decided to go his separate way, and I went my separate way. And I had all the drawings and the plans and the designs for the show. And then how long did it take before it was almost a decade later?
No,
not quite.
It was 1999.
Okay, it was 1999.
When you were working at Play TV.
Right. And then
you got the chance to sort of reinvent the show.
Right, because now it was going to be for the internet instead of cable. And
so that's how it became Net Raiders. They're raiding the net. And
of entertainment.
Yeah, and obviously he made some changes so that it wouldn't be Cable Pirates. It wouldn't just be the same show.
Right.
But the puppets you made were almost the same design because it was just you remade.
Well, they were my design.
Yeah, they were your designs originally, so that you were able to keep the look. and just made better versions.
We had one puppet we had to make differences to because it wasn't
that was Shrum's creation originally.
Right, so we made some changes.
And made him a new character.
Yeah. And then
I got to be the voice of him.
Oh, you got to be the voice of a lot of the
puppets. Yeah. But what's funny about that one is the voice that I used for Chip is basically the same as Gorky. It's real close.
Really close. But the so how long? It took us 3 years.
3 years of actual production.
Right.
Yeah, pre-production and production.
There was a lot of in between where it kind of stopped because we didn't have
scheduling and no one was getting paid, so it was like whenever people's schedules lined up is when we would shoot. So.
And in the middle of the production is when 9/11 happened, and I remember.
That's right.
I remember that night we didn't do anything. We just sat around and talked.
Yeah.
And then because I don't know.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah, the world.
Like,
was
it's like you don't. Yeah.
Puppets were important at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the after working on Net Raiders and it not really going anywhere. That's another long story.
We pitched it to every network out there, and they all gave us basically either ignored us completely or they gave us the same answers, like, "Oh, we don't really want to do puppets."
So, anyways, long story. I probably did the biggest mistake of my entire life, and I got married.
Oh,
and
cut to a couple of years later.
Yeah, and that put my artistic life on hold. And the good thing that came out of it was my son. I had a kid named Logan, based off of the movie Logan's Run.
Yep.
And
which Flimflam and Gorky did a review of.
The first review.
Yeah. 2 different reviews, actually. We did a long form one that's available on the website, the flimflamandgorkyshow.com. And then the short one that's like, what is it, 15, 20? I don't remember. Anyway, it's a shorter form one that's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're both good for different reasons, so check them both out.
Oh, well, we did costumes, and for the He-Man fan film, we worked on costumes for that. Together, we worked on Castle Grayskull Man.
Yes, for the last He-Man fan film that I was in, I played Triclops again, doing the same Jason Statham voice for Daniel Benedict's The Fall of Grayskull, which is for free, available on YouTube and his website, fallofgrayskull.com, I think.
We can put a link to it in the video.
And we'll send all the links to you.
So the interesting thing is around that time, that's when the 4 of us actually met online, let's say, or
back when I was still on social media.
You know what? I was just thinking about that. I cannot remember how we met. I remember John talking to you online, but I don't even know how that happened.
It was just talking about we had similar interests, Star Wars and puppets and sci-fi and stuff like that. And then
costumes
and then Johnny
costumes was the catalyst, I believe.
Yes, exactly. It was costumes, and then seeing you do all the Masters of the Universe stuff, and then seeing your puppet work for Orko. So yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
and then
that was a sad deal.
So PowerCon 2021, we got to meet you guys in person.
Finally,
yeah, that was crazy.
And that was probably one of the biggest shocks. It was like, oh my god, it's like I know those guys.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying.
All right. So next question. Where were we?
You're on number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3.
How did you guys arrive at the concept of Flimflam and Gorky?
That would be me.
Yeah, you take it over.
Okay, finally. All right, so after working on Net Raiders for so long and with so many people and so many complications due to so many people and time and money.
The old too many cooks thing.
Yeah. I felt that if I was going to do another production, I would keep it simple, stupid. And try to have the smallest crews possible,
Originally, he just wanted me and him, but we realized 3 is the magic number for this because we do need a puppet assistant.
Right, we need one other person. But either way, at this point in time, YouTube had been around for at least 10 years now.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like, oh, this is, you know, by the way, when we did Net Raiders, there was no YouTube.
Right.
It was
That was in the dark ages,
right?
In the early 2000s.
And as far as editing software went, it wasn't, available like it is now.
Not affordable anyway.
Yeah, it was really expensive.
It was years later when we finally, when technology caught up to us and was cheap enough for us to actually afford it. So that's why the final version of Net Raiders didn't come out until
too long.
Yeah. 2015, 16, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point was I wanted to do puppets again. I wanted to review science fiction movies, and I wanted to do it in a way to where it only required me and another person, and obviously an operator.
Well, and you were saying you wanted it to be like alien puppets reviewing stuff because you would watch all these other reviews and it's always just like a couple of guys
so
sitting
that's
around talking, and that's not as interesting visually.
Right.
But
so
puppets.
I love watching. There's a ton of really great YouTube channels where people review, weird movies, sci-fi movies and stuff. And
do you have any favorites for reviewers on YouTube?
Brandon's Colts films.
Yes.
I think it might be a little obvious if you look at Brandon and you look at
he's Canadian.
Yeah.
He's got he usually does like scary movies or Godzilla movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's weird movies with Brian or yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Weird
I think
Mark.
it was Mark. Yes, thank you. Shows you how much of a fan I am. Me and names.
Yeah.
And then there's others. Those are two of my favorites.
Lately I've been watching Red Eye reviews and Minty.
Yeah, Minty.
Yeah.
I like Minty.
And Scaredy Cat.
Yes.
Yeah. But I wanted to do the same thing, but I also was like, I would just be in the sea of many other
if it's just our ugly ass faces,
30, 40-year-olds
interesting.
guys talking, it would just, And so I said, let's do this. I want to build 2 puppets. I wanted to kind of have that Mystery Science Theater 3000.
In case you couldn't tell, that was one of our influences.
Yeah. Meets the Muppets. I was a big fan of, the Jim Henson Company.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted the personalities to be like, kind of like Siskel and Ebert.
Basically.
Laurel and Hardy. What other?
The Odd Couple.
Yeah, exactly. These
Abbott and
personalities that clash, but yet they're good friends. So, and that's where it came down to.
Well, and I think one of the funny things is that, like, when I was, first reading what you had for Flimflam and Gorky, I'm like, oh yeah, Flimflam is totally me, and Gorky is totally you. And he deliberately wanted to swap so that it would be more fun. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So there's aspects of Gorky that are me. There's aspects of Flimflam that are you, but mostly it's reversed.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I really wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it in a unique way.
By the way, continuity fans, magically refilling glasses.
And we did that. Wow. Amazing. Look at that.
Or they're not even going to be in the same position, so it's not going to matter anyway.
I know. Yeah, like I said, continuity fans.
Right.
All right.
Just for the hell of it, we should just go and change our clothes and.
I'll be on the
change
other
position.
side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Glasses with the nose and stuff. And
Yeah. You guys shoot this like different days? Oh no, they just decided to wear different clothes and.
So, how much of your real life personality and the dynamic of that friendship you guys have, how much of that is in Flimflam and Gorky?
I think there's quite a bit because we we script the episodes, but we do ad-lib quite a bit. Like once we get into the character, we just sort of banter, and a lot of that ends up left in the episodes because that's usually the funniest crap.
Yeah, I think when this was a quote from William Shatner. He said that when you're watching an actor on a movie, the actor has the ability for a short time getting into a character that's not him. But when working on a show that you have to repeatedly do, it's easier to let some of your real self come out so that it's not as taxing and draining. So I feel the same way. It's like if I'm gonna if I'm gonna perform this character over and over and over again, it better be more like me, so it comes across as more natural than if I were to have him go, yes, evil character. You know, it's like it almost not like Mark Hamill, like his.
Yeah.
Well, his Skeletor actually was pretty close.
Yeah. So that way, I feel like I wanted to use more of my natural voice, but just like make it a little more fancy. You know?
Yeah. And yeah, like I remember us talking about Gorky's voice. Originally, he wanted him to have like a slight lisp to play into the nerd stereotype, and I'm like, I'm not doing a lisp. I don't like that stereotype. It's annoying.
Plus, it would be hard to do every time.
Yeah. So basically, that's why he ended up sounding a lot like Chip from Net Raiders.
Right. Which just a little more of a screech.
Just me, a little higher pitched.
Yeah.
And a little more enthusiastic than I normally am. I'm kind of animated anyway, but
yeah. And the thing is, growing up, we all knew, like, in your neighborhood, there was always that kid that sounded like that, or was always like he was always, everybody else is at a 7 and he was always at a 9 all the time. Like,
and he was short and fat, like Gorky.
Yeah.
The other thing is, with the characters being similar to us, is the size difference as well. Yeah. You know, Johnny is shorter than I am, so is Gorky, and that shows in the character. Plus, I wanted that dynamic. I definitely wanted the two characters to be uniquely different. Yep. Two different species.
Keeping it visually interesting is really important.
Right. And as far as now, for me as Flimflam, the closest thing I could say that we have in common is our love for Star Wars. Besides, obviously, science fiction and fantasy. Yeah. But Star Wars was, as most boys, men my age, Star Wars was a huge influence. It was right around that perfect timing as a child to basically become a religion. And same with Gorky is when,
obviously He-Man was his thing because it's mine, because PowerCon.
Right. And I wanted Gorky to have a love for a particular franchise as well. And the second thing that the characters have in common with us is our love for toys and toy collecting and customizing as well. Yeah. You know, because Johnny does a lot of customization on his figures, and I've done the same.
In the background of a lot of the episodes, you can see we have like our right out of the package action figures right next to ones that are custom. And if you're gonna analyze the episodes like that closely, you'd be like, wait, where did they get that? It's like they're aliens. They have access to stores,
other markets. Throughout the universe.
One where the Manny faces from the new CGI Netflix series has the right paint job to match Manny faces from the 2000X line.
You need a real keen eye for that.
Yeah, I'll send better pictures.
Yeah, but so like most YouTubers that have their own channels and they talk about their love for science fiction or toys, they always have
their collections.
Their collections behind them, and I felt that
I don't know
we were no different.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What's all that?
Yeah. Can you give us a verbal tour of your set and like your favorite parts about it?
Yeah.
All right.
I will
You
insert
start?
pictures over you guys talking, just so you know. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like we said, we have our toy collection, which over here on my side is 3 shelves that have mostly produced stuff from Hasbro. I don't have any of my custom stuff on here, except for I did custom paint the Kenner Sandcrawler.
Yeah.
That's the only thing up here that I kind of customized. So the reason mostly that these are here is because I don't have room for them on my shelves at home because they're already filled with other Star Wars toys. So Johnny,
Yes.
what's on your side?
Okay, obviously I've got the He-Man collection here, and I sort of have a mixture of like store-bought, like straight out of the package, customs, custom painted stuff. I almost always repaint a little bit, like even if it's just adding like a black wash,
Yeah.
to bring out the details. But I also have a mixture of different collections. I've got, the He-Man, the Master Universe Origin stuff. I've got the 2000X stuff, and that's of the repaint of Cyclone. And what else have I got? Oh yeah, I've got the Masterverse collection up there. I've got William Scout stuff from Super 7. And yeah. So I think, one of the fun things about this is being able to mix and match collections. But one of my favorite parts of the set are the stupid asteroids we made.
Hey, you're not stupid.
Yeah, because they're made out of tinfoil and paper mache.
Right.
And we painted them up and everything, hang them from.
That was a fun night, by the way. We had a lot to drink.
Yeah, and hung them from fishing line. But after we made them, I saw Troop Zero on Netflix, and they have an asteroid in there that I'm pretty sure is CGI, but it looks almost exactly like that. And if you can find a screenshot of that, it's hilarious. Yeah.
And also about the asteroid, they're on a mobile. What's it called? A mobile. Mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Ocean.
Yeah.
So we usually have a fan on them so that they'll move just a little bit at least.
And the background is on a black velvet with
Insert Alana Miles here.
And then when the fan blows, it moves it, so it looks like the stars are sparkling.
Yep. Because black velvet with rhinestones glued to them.
Right. So that's where that idea came from. Because in the show, the ship, we'll get to this, I'm sure, is parked in the Kuiper Belt.
Yep. And they're actually mining asteroids.
Right.
For different metals and stuff.
Right.
And Folgers crystals.
Yes.
Folgers.
Yeah, that's where Folgers crystals comes from.
Duh.
Yeah. So then we have the main monitor where a lot of during the production of the show, we'll have the videos playing and stuff. And these buttons, they're not real.
Yep. Bottle caps.
Yeah, they're bottle caps and all kinds of.
And we've got LEDs in here too.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not on right now, but that's okay.
We forgot to turn them on.
And this is another shelf that allows us to put more toys to decorate the show. Why don't you tell them about the one time we only used it once, and that was the first episode. But hopefully in the future, if we actually get real physical special guests,
where they're not just on the screen, where they're actually out here.
Yeah, we have the door, and it looks like a space door that goes psh, psh, English, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, it's more like a Western
Saloon door.
saloon door.
So a guest could come in and be like, "Hey, Flimflam and Gorky, how's it going?
Oh my goodness!
Look, it's Jack Palance or whoever's alive still." Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the guy who goes, I'm
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, he fits into sci-fi because he was in Cyborg 2.
I don't think his walker will go through there.
He's dead. He's been dead for years.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been dead?
Yeah, that's why I
that
said
would
whoever's
be
alive.
a very special guest.
The sad thing is, I bet if we dug him up,
And
he looked the same as his last movie.
What was that again?
I said, I bet if we dug him up, he'd look the same as his last movie.
Right. Yeah.
He was
probably the most important set piece would be this.
The console.
The console, because it serves two purposes. It hides Johnny and myself when puppeting, and it's actually the computer named Crystal. And so it's not the ship's computer, because the ship didn't come with a fancy computer, talking computer.
Yeah.
This was a thrift store
Add-on.
That Flimflam basically needed so that the show could be produced and ran. So this is Crystal, and she's the one who puts up the screenshots and cuts and editing, in World.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're ever going to be able to feature this, but Crystal's actually a really good singer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. So anyways, so that's some of our favorites things. Oh yeah, and this too. Look,
that's screwed in right now.
Is it screwed in?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was gonna be a perfect joke, because I was gonna say, and then you could put your weed in here too.
Point to your globe there.
That?
Yep. Tell them about that.
I was gonna say, point to my globe.
Hey.
I don't know if you guys can see this.
It got excited.
We'll do a close up. These are 1970s glass bulbs that I stole
from a chandelier.
Well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was not a chandelier.
It was just a lamp.
It was a lamp in a bathroom. Long story, but I held on to these things for years because they're so freaking awesome, and it's hard to see. But like I said, we'll give a detailed shot.
And they're stuffed with Christmas lights.
So I just I held on for them for years and years and years, and they've finally gave me an opportunity to put these in. And this is like the brain power of Crystals. Like, so when she's thinking and stuff.
Yeah, it goes crazy like that.
Crazy lights.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see that
down.
on there.
It looks very much like the MST3K set, which is something that inspired us. I mean,
but better.
Exactly. But so they had puppets. You guys had puppets. We took their coverall or their speed suit idea.
Yeah.
That's what we are doing in our videos, because we hey, let's have matching uniforms. But so MST3K, what are some other influences you guys had for your show together?
Yeah. Alf.
MST3K, Alf.
I'm a big fan of Alf.
Yeah. Brandon's cult movie reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's others.
Just science fiction in general, especially cheesy ones that were meant like
the Star Wars knockoffs and stuff, like Battle Beyond the Stars,
right?
StarCraft and all that stuff.
Yeah. All those films were meant to be serious. Like, they went in and said, "Hey, we want to make the next Star Wars," but obviously
didn't have the budget.
Not just that, but just
didn't have the talent.
Didn't have the talent, and that's what makes them so fun to watch.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that inspired,
Yeah, and if you look at the puppets, if you look at Flimflam and Gorky, there are visible seams where the fabric was stitched together and stuff like that. And we still get people that ask, Like, is this CGI? Like, no, there's scenes. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the weirdest question I think that we get.
And we got that even back when we did Net Raiders.
Yeah. People just like, oh, it's computer animations.
No, those
wow.
We're sweating in those right now.
Oh, you don't want what the bottom of these puppets smell like. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much our inspiration. You know, I mean, it's hard to believe how long ago Mystery Science Theater began. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
But it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
You know.
You guys kind of answered this a little bit, but for the people who haven't seen the show, what have you guys covered? Like the movies that you've covered?
Okay, before we get into the specifics, the general idea for the show was to cover some classic sci-fi and like cheesy sci-fi, as well as like modern content. So go.
Sure. So there was a couple of films that I definitely wanted to tackle right away, and that was the first one was Logan's Run. Then as we started going on, there was certain things that popped up in real life that I said, no, we gotta tackle this. And one of them,
Mandalorian.
well, the Mandalorian, that was like, you know, oh, we need to cover this. The Orville.
Yes.
Was something I really wanted to cover, and Star Trek Continues.
Oh, Star Trek Continues is interesting because if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, it was a fan production done by Vic Mignogna.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Kirk, and it's done in the style of the original series. So everything, like the sets, the costumes, the actors' hairstyles, and even the editing, it feels like you're watching an episode of the original series.
Yeah,
It really does.
Yeah. And
It's so good on that show.
Yeah.
Our review of that, Vic actually reposted it, and that's why that one has the most views of our Gorky review of Star Trek Continues.
Right, which was nice. That, you know, he got to, knowing that the creator of that show at least got to see our episode. That's all.
And liked it enough to repost it.
Right.
So that helped us a lot.
So we would like to obviously expand besides just the cheesy sci-fi and the other thing that I think that's important for our show is that when you're watching other YouTube channels and they're doing reviews, usually there's a lot of negativity.
About like, look how bad this effect is and stuff.
And they're making fun of the films, and you know that's easy to do. But with our show, I wanted to celebrate its cheesiness and corniness and not give a negative review.
Yeah, because negative reviews are now a dime a dozen. But positive reviews of stuff that is, you know, of questionable quality, like the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Right. And you know, almost every single review of the Star Wars Holiday Special is negative.
Yeah.
And how horrible it is. And
but when Flimflam and Gorky talk about it, they address those issues, but they don't focus on them. They focus on what the Holiday Special got right. Because there's not enough content like that out there.
Yeah. And it's you know, it's something that there's nothing else like it that exists. And for Star Wars fans, you know, even though it is cringy to accept it as a canon, which I don't know if it is or not. I know that the celebration of Life Day is canon.
Yes.
But we know that what actually happened that day on that, you know, show actually happened. I don't think it did.
I don't think Disney's addressed that directly.
No.
Because the only thing that's available on Disney Plus is the cartoon.
Right.
A Faithful Wookiee.
Right. But I really want the show to focus positively on these things. So we don't rip into them. We don't, you know, but we do address that maybe,
Yeah.
you know, like, yes, this is, you know, before the time of CG and you can see the strings and stuff like that. But definitely wanted to keep it positive.
We saw your Masters of the Universe review, and what was
Yeah.
fun about it was you guys were saying things that we discussed like almost verbatim. And then the coolest part was when you did because Gorky, you're saying that like all they really had to do was apply the color from the characters that we knew to the costumes, and that would have helped sell it better. Because I've said that so many times, and then you actually did a graphic of the side by side. Like, this is what we got in the movie, and if they just did Man at Arms armor orange,
Yep.
it's like it would have looked like this. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what we said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's
for taking the time to do that.
yeah. Does that mean you want a writing credit on that?
No, but get this. That episode was the first episode that was written by Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point I said, hey, Johnny, we're going to do Masters of the Universe. You're going to write this, because he's more of an expert on Masters of the Universe than me.
Yeah, he writes most of the episodes, and I just put in like little like spices here and there.
It was fun working on it. And the next episode, Johnny is writing as well.
Yep.
So
It's going to be a weird one because it's our first 2-part episode.
yeah.
And so our episode is going to have a sequel, basically. But we're reviewing. Should I tell them exactly what it is? Nobody
Well,
cares.
I know that they have to ask that question at some point.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
A Van Damme movie review. Like, Van Damme, what does he do that's sci-fi? Well, in 1989, he made a movie called Cyborg, which is a cool post-apocalyptic Mad Max knockoff.
Yep.
But
And he's not the cyborg.
And I can tell you somebody who just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, I
and,
did.
Yeah,
Did not say that.
great thing about it being a Mad Max knockoff is they didn't have a budget big enough to afford, car chases and car crashes. So instead of car chases and crashes, it's kung fu fighting.
We know there's Flimflam, there's Gorky, there's whose dad is it that we see on the show?
My
Okay.
dad.
Okay.
Oh, well, Flimflam's dad.
Flimflam with that. What other characters exist in this universe? Are there other ones we haven't seen yet, or
There will be, yes.
Yeah. So far, there's a total of 4 characters that have been introduced. There's obviously Flimflam. There's Gorky. There's Rusty, who is Flimflam's dad, and then there's Crystal, the computer.
okay.
Those are the 4 characters. The relationship with Flimflam and Gorky, obviously, Flimflam was adopted because Rusty is a robot. And Rusty, by the way, is a throwback to
Net Raiders.
Net Raiders.
Yeah, he was originally created for that show.
He was originally created for that show, but his character eventually, I decided this is a character that I really want. So I made him, Flimflam's dad. The story goes is that Rusty was working as a janitor on a planet which was Flimflam's species. They inhabited the planet. Vakuma, right. And that day, the planet was destroyed, and Flimflam was a very young child and ended up running for protection to hide onto the ship, and then he took off, and then he finds out that there's this little tiny kid stowaway on the ship, and then he just raised him. He knew that his parents were probably dead, and of course the name Flimflam came from Rusty, because as a little kid, Flimflam would make up all these stories, very creative, and Rusty, being the grumpy old man that he is, he's like, what? Why are you telling me all of this, Flimflam? Get your head out of the clouds, and so the name Flimflam stuck. And so that's where Rusty owns the ship. He's a miner who mines asteroids in the Kuiper Belt, which is the outer reaches of our solar system. And so that's where that story comes from. Then you have Gorky, obviously. Now, Gorky doesn't live here on the ship. He's just best friends with Flimflam. And he actually lives on a mining facility on an asteroid. And the connection is that Gorky's father is the foreman of the mining company that Rusty works for. And that's how they met. So Gorky has a mom and a dad. And I think, if I remember correctly, Gorky's mom is red, and Gorky's dad is blue, and that's where we get the purple. We get the purple in the mix between the two, and that's where Johnny's mom is going to come in and voice his mother.
Yeah, she doesn't know that yet, but
well, no, we kind of talked about it. She probably forgot. Over a year ago.
It'll be awesome.
She's not going to puppet it. We're just going to have her like say the lines, and then I'll come in and puppet it. And and then other than that, as main characters go, that's it. Is the introduction of your parents, Gorky's parents. So I think that as far as other characters go, I think. Time will tell. We'll see if other characters are going to be created. It all depends on.
They will appear as needed.
Yeah,
like it's like, oh, hey, we need a character that's like a merchant or whatever. Like, yeah, that's when new characters pop up for us.
Yeah.
That kind of partially answered my next question that I have written down, which is where are places you want to take the characters, both like in the real world and in the show?
Well, in the real world, I'd say going back to PowerCon again would be nice.
Going to other conventions would be fun. For me, though, I'd like for them to be closer at home. I guess that's part of being a single father. That's my excuse.
Well, but also when you're dealing with puppets, like you can't just take the puppet. You got to take.
I was gonna ask that.
Like this. If you're gonna do an actual performance, otherwise it's just a puppet sitting there. So
yeah. So we would have a lot of luggage.
Yeah.
But
welcome to our world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've seen your luggage.
It's the same thing, except for we don't put the puppets over our bodies, But the puppets are pretty big.
Yeah.
So. Also, one of the things, because of our love for toys, I would really like to see, action figures. And
then we'd finally get to see what Gorky looks like below the waist.
Do we really want to know?
That wasn't supposed to sound dirty, but I mean,
I know what it looks like.
Would it automatically be a 2-pack? But no, would it?
I think it would be good to offer a 2-pack.
Just like straight out, you don't have to like. Oh, I can find Flimflam all day, but I can't find Gorky.
Right.
Are you saying I'm a peg warmer? Everybody loves Gorky. That's a new show.
No, it's not. No,
they're short packing it. It's like here comes the carton of Flimflam and Gorky figures, and they're just like they're not putting enough Gorkys in there.
Well, so the bottom half of Flimflam and Gorky. So imagine if you were to take smaller versions of Flimflam's head and turn them upside down, connected to the knee. So they're big
suction cups.
Suction cups.
Without the hair, hopefully.
Without the hair, that would be freaky. And he wears like blue shorts, just above the knee. And then
I just pictured a UPS uniform. Not UPS, postal.
Yeah, blue one. Yeah, pretty close. And then Gorky is basically more slug-like. He doesn't have feet. He's just what's a proper name for a slug?
Jabba.
Yes. All right. Kind of like a Jabba lower half, you know, and that's why
fat joke.
And that's why you don't wear pants.
Yeah. I mean, that's one reason.
Right. And so that's what they look like below. Maybe I'll draw some pictures of what they look like.
Yeah.
Because that would be nice, you know.
Yeah. And then somebody can turn those illustrations into artwork, and then you can that stuff can like go on T-shirts and hats and all the stuff you're talking about.
Oh, Gorky hats would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Can you imagine?
In the bill.
Hats though, it's like this fleshy tube with hair, with a friar tuck.
Are you an evil pope? What is that?
Yeah, that's got to be weird.
So you guys covered a couple questions we had out of that. We can. I'm going to skip ahead since there's already.
Moving on.
So who are some celebrities that Flimflam and Gorky would like to meet?
Well, we have already one special guest. I don't know if you call him a celebrity, but yeah, you know, in the
JP from Egotastic Fun Time,
right?
So.
For those fans of the Orville, there's a YouTuber called JP from Egotastic Fun Time.
I understand his Earth name is Justin Poole.
Right. Yeah. So that was another YouTuber that I would watch quite often and was inspired to just go for it. Yeah. Because I said, well, shoot, if this guy can do it, I can do it. Right.
But also, if we're going to cover the stuff that this guy's famous for, we need to have him on the show.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So luckily, and now here's the thing, I've messaged other people before and said, hey, you know, here's our channel. This is our show.
I like how you turned into Alf when you said that.
Hey! Yeah, that's right. Willie. Where's your cat? And I would message him saying, hey, you know, if you're interested and you like the show, we'd like to have you on as a special guest. I never get responses, except for JP. And he's like, yeah, sure. You know, just tell me what I need to do. So
yeah, because he doesn't script his show, like so it was different for him to have like a script to go off of.
But I wrote the script and I wrote his part, and of course I said, you know, feel free to change this any way that you want, so it sounds like you.
Yeah, and didn't he pretty much just say,
he said,
that's pretty much how I talk. So yeah.
Yeah. So there was no change. Yeah. But I watched the show so much that I knew how to write. And he came on and he did, you know, special guest towards the end of the Orville.
Also, there was one typo that ended up in the script because of your dyslexia, and where you say, or where JP says something about other sci-fi content.
Yeah,
is what it was supposed to say, and in the script it said context.
Right.
And so that's how he wrote it. And it's right. Like it. Most people probably don't even pay attention to it, but like that was one thing that I was like,
So we already had somebody on besides us, which was really great. It was
also Angry Nerd Troll showed up in that episode,
right? Which was a character that he created that was on his show.
Yeah.
But as far as future goes. That's a tough one because it would have to work with whatever we're doing, reviewing. I mean, dude, if we could get
Pedro Pascal.
Well, I was gonna say Van Damme, you know, that would be great.
Hell, Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, or Vic, remember another Star Trek thing. Yeah. But any person, like, okay, so like I also thought of characters that would be great for the show, but are not actual people, and one is Alf.
Yeah.
Alf would be perfect because I think
nobody knew who played Alf. Nobody knew who the voice of Alf was.
Right. But
really
he fit perfectly in this.
Not
universe.
back then, anyway.
Yeah. Now so because of the internet.
Yeah.
But to have him show up and be a part of the universe that we've created, it just makes sense.
Yeah. Where did Alf go? And cut to cut to him, and he's got like a little cattail coming up.
Right. He, like,
And
pats
just
his mouth
don't
with a napkin.
explain it for
Yeah.
anyone. It's like the people that know will know.
Right. But if anybody who's listening who is a celebrity or is attached to any part of filmmaking, feel free to let us know if you want to get involved, because like I said, we're pretty open with any kind of ideas.
Yeah, we have an open show.
Instead of doing movie reviews or cartoon reviews or whatnot, how open are you guys to doing more collaborations with other content makers or YouTubers or actors, or and I mean, would you sit there and be, because it'd be less editing, I think, if you just had somebody come on and do like a guest spot.
Right.
Yeah. I personally have been, very open to the idea, but the opportunity has not presented itself, or
Right.
The right people haven't been interested. So,
Well, we're not that popular.
Yeah, we're just starting out, but
2 years.
yeah, I know.
Starting out, but that has a lot to do with just life in general and schedule and
Yeah, but also not having, like a profile on something like TikTok or whatever's even.
Yeah, right now our show is only available on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'd like to expand it, but again, I'm so busy with the production of the show
Yeah.
that I don't have time to do all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like it feels like it's an either or. Do we, do cross-platform marketing, or do we create more content?
Right.
And right now we're trying to create more content.
Something's gonna suffer.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna focus on marketing, we're gonna have to put the show on hiatus.
Yeah.
No, we're the same. We're in the same boat, because it's, do we sit there and shoot videos and we'll write scripts, shoot videos, edit stuff together to talk about some of the costumes and stuff that we've made, or do we take that time and actually make more costumes?
Right. Yeah. So you know exactly what we're talking
Right,
about.
right. We need to get ourselves some Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. Or money.
Just have them do all the dirty work.
Yeah. Yeah. If we
Well,
had,
you don't want to be like those people who, like, there's some cosplayers like that where they make one thing and it's like they're all over social media, they have all that and they're popular, but it's like you've only done the one thing that you just keep
Repeating.
repeating over and over again. You're not making anything new.
Right.
Yeah.
They just have a really good marketing
Yeah.
producer
yeah.
or something.
So do you guys want to talk about, like, besides Flimflam and Gorky, what other projects you guys have going on?
I do have one thing that I've been working on. Will was not directly involved. I'll go into that more later, but it's a fan film of the Lost Boys. And while the Lost Boys themselves are not the stars of this, they do make an appearance. Because, I mean, you can't make a Lost Boys fan film without including the Lost Boys. Yeah, I figured this would be the best place to debut the teaser trailer for. It's a short film. It's only 5 minutes long, and it just sort of fills in some blanks that the original movie left. And your audience is going to be the first to see the teaser trailer. And here's our announcement about the release date, which is July 31st this year, which is the 35th anniversary of the original Lost Boys. So here's our teaser.
Roll the clip.
That's awesome. I was just watching The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, Lost Boys, for the 35th anniversary, they're not really doing anything to celebrate, except it is back on Netflix for free. So,
oh, really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's where
I mean, if
watched
you've
it.
got a Netflix account, I guess.
We have it on DVD, but I watched it on Netflix. So.
Yeah, we're really excited about releasing this Lost Boys fan film. It's what the industry calls a proof of concept project, which is basically showing you can actually make a movie about this. And what most fans would think of as like an extended trailer, because you've got 5 minutes. It's a little vignette that takes place right before the Lost Boys film. But it just kind of shows that the Lost Girls and the Lost Boys exist in the same universe. So there's 2 vampire gangs active in Santa Carla in 1987. And we have a full feature script for the Lost Girls. It's already copyrighted, and we don't use any intellectual property that's not ours. So like it's all just the original characters. We don't have any references to Santa Carla or anything, just to cover our butts. So we can actually make this movie as soon as we get like a production company interested, or a big celebrity that wants to do a cameo, or possibly even a supporting character. But yeah, that's the goal, is to get the Lost Girls franchise on the road, because it's not just one feature film. We have like a whole backstory catalog of like web series or Netflix limited series that tells you the backstories of each of the vampires that you see in The Lost.
Okay.
And the Lost Girls script was written by me and the co-creator Savannah Rain, who you saw in the teaser. She's the girl with the purple mohawk.
Okay.
For the script, we actually contributed about 50-50. She helped me flesh out like the backstories that are going to be released as Trails of Blood. Each one spotlighting a different time period when we recruited whichever vampire it is, starting in the late 50s and going back incrementally back to the 1500s. So yeah, we actually have a lot of plans for this.
So with Net Raiders, we do have a clip that we provided, and just to kind of set it up for you, this particular clip has all the main characters. There's Rob, the human. There's Chip, the robot.
Hey.
There's Sergil, the security droid. And then you have the Zeldweebians, which is Max, Boot, Flip, Zig, and Num Nums. Okay? And in this sequence here, this episode, the movie takes place in the Alien universe. And they just finished discovering that there was a bunch of alien eggs, and Num Nums was infected by one of the face huggers.
Yep.
But it was a butt hugger.
Yep. Yeah, he turned to run,
and
it
attached
to his butt instead of his face.
Here's your food, Rob.
Hey, Serge. Thanks. Here you go, Chip.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, guys. I got something I've been practicing. Who wants to volunteer? Wow, okay then.
Disgusting.
Now just hold still, Num Nums.
Okay.
Get this plastic knife here.
It's okay, just hold still. I'll take
No.
it back together.
Sergil's really been working hard. I think we owe it to him. Let's give him a little something extra he can spend at the next space station.
Big time. Hey, everybody should pitch in a little.
Good idea.
I think I've got a little extra. Does anyone have change for Zeldweebian 5?
I only have Borg bucks.
Wow, that's a big-ass tip.
Hey, you too, Num Nums.
I don't tip.
Why not?
Don't believe in it. Sergio served us. That's his job.
But Sergio's nice.
He's okay.
What do you think would be nice? You want him to chew your food for you?
Been here 5 minutes. He's only refilled Num Num's cup once.
Num Nums? You drink too fast. No one can keep up with you on refills.
Num Nums won't tip then.
Oh. What? It's Jello! Yeah!
That was so funny.
What I love is if you listen carefully, we actually have the heartbeat come in faintly in the soundtrack, like in the original Alien. So,
Right.
yeah.
You know what I'm impressed about? That actor who played Rob. That was a good-looking guy.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever
His
happened?
eyes.
Right.
They were like Jeff Fahey.
Whatever happened to him? Do we know? Did he do any other work?
I don't know. Find some paparazzi shots of him.
Sure. Why not? I actually have a question for you two.
Okay.
So I'm going to flip this around. And I want questions from each one of you. So I'll start with Newt. What is it about the not Net Raiders, sorry.
Flimflam and Gorky.
Yeah, the Flimflam and Gorky show that sticks out for you, why you like the show?
Dude, the creativity, the fact that like two people came together and like made this amazing set in these puppets. I do love puppets, so like anytime puppets are involved with something, I'm gonna like it. And like you said, like you're not like I'm tired of. I love the '87 Masters of the Universe movie. I actually share a birthday with it, but I absolutely love that movie, and I hate watching reviews for it because people always tear it apart. And like you said, you guys did not tear it apart.
There's a lot of cringy moments, and like I said, I think we successfully addressed them in our review.
You addressed it, and you're like, this could have made it better, like giving them the color pattern and everything.
But we didn't beat it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you
the
gotta
thing
remember,
is, I can take criticism, but when people are just mindlessly like, oh, everybody else is saying this about it, so I'm going to say this about it too. You know, it's not. They're not thinking for themselves, kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I'm glad we mentioned that. Like, this was Gary Goddard's first time directing a feature film, and for him to overcome all those obstacles is nothing short of a miracle. So, like, yeah, you look at that movie with that in mind, and it's a different experience.
Yeah. John.
Yes.
What's your point of view?
I was blown away seeing the basically the intro and how just from the intro and how involved that was, where it's like, okay, these guys put a lot of time and effort into this to make it look both intentionally cheesy and at the same time professional. And then of course seeing the overall aesthetic of like the spaceship and the puppets and the editing, the integration of we're gonna have like a hologram projecting this. Stuff like that. It's like, okay,
that's like genius. It's like, oh, this is how we insert a picture. It's so genius.
There's different tiers of people on YouTube. You have the people who, and I can't comprehend how they have it, but they'll have like 50,000 subscribers, and it's their laptop in their bedroom with Funko Pops and like a college pin on the wall, and they're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, so I'm gonna
or you have the people who are like filming their computer screen talking about something, and I'm like, where's the production value?
They have a camera over their shoulder and they're pointing at their computer screen with a pen, and they're reading news articles that you can read for yourself.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Right.
You know, we said that.
Where are those followers? We need those guys to come over here.
Exactly. Like when she and I started this, we're like, okay, well, we're gonna have a cool backdrop, and we're gonna have matching uniforms, and we're gonna have like our character names like sewn onto our uniforms. And we're gonna brand it as much as we can.
Use green screen. We have sets.
And then over time, it went from like, okay, well, let's use each video that we make to try to learn something new. It's like, okay, we're gonna learn how to do the chroma key stuff, and we're gonna learn how to do this, and we're gonna have to learn how to do that. And that's when I watched your guys' stuff, I'm like, oh, these guys get it. These guys understand that. Go into it with a professional attitude, even though they're on a budget.
Yeah.
You know, and have some pride in what you do.
Thank you.
Well, if you watch all our episodes in order, you'll see the improvements, and most of them come from like us watching the episode.
Yep.
And Will's like, oh, we could do this better. Like this doesn't look quite right. And you know, on our Girl Power episode, there was a setting on the camera that got flipped, which made the editing more difficult because the green screen was so blown out that like he had to
go in frame by frame and cut out the green screen.
Yeah, so good the whole time.
For the whole episode.
Yeah, and it was like it took me a month to cut because Flimflam and Gorky kept on moving
in
front
of it.
Oh god, yeah.
And so I had to like sit there and manually move. But I didn't want to. Everyone was like, just reshoot the episode. I'm just like, no, the episode's perfect.
Yeah,
I don't want to reshoot it because then it.
And
by
that point, you had already done like half of it. So it's like, no, I'm not going to throw away that half of my work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
But the show, I believe, obviously, if you look from the very beginning to the latest episode, I'm always pushing, for better. And, even with the pacing, the editing, it's a little more faster, less awkward.
And also regarding something John brought up, we have like the hollow rods or whatever that come down.
That was a new addition.
Yeah,
the hollow rods.
That new thing, that was because he was like, I think we want to have something where it's going to be a bigger image.
Not just that, but the rods will be able to move and expand, and when they expand, they can actually play video.
Yeah,
instead of just the image that comes from here.
So a lot of the innovation came from just like stuff that we know we want to do in the future.
Right.
And so what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention, or something like that. So
But thank you for those wonderful words, and it's always good to get feedback. Because
nice to know people notice some of the stuff we do.
Yeah, I mean, we get a couple of comments now and then on an episode, but
it's usually just like, "Oh, I love that."
Yeah, and I'm more like, "What did you love?"
Like?
Yeah,
right.
Tell us more. We want to know what the fans like and what they don't like.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the last episode we did, which was the Plenty of Girl Power. In the video itself, we asked, hey, if we missed any female characters that has inspired you that you can look up to, please comment. And unfortunately, nobody does.
Well, we got a couple of people that mentioned like, oh, hey, what about Yeoman Rand?
Not enough.
Yeah, I know.
I want more. Johnny, there's going to come a time where we're going to get so many comments, we're not going to be able to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And not there yet.
But when that day comes, we should celebrate and say that's an accomplishment.
Thank you both so much for coming on our show. We really, really love your show. And I hope that it grows for you guys because you truly deserve it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's great seeing you. And I hope to see you in person.
Yep.
And I don't know. I hope there's more excuses to get together like this so that we can talk this way. Plus, it'd be fun to interact with Flimflam and Gorky again.
Yeah. Well, we'll be seeing Johnny at PowerCon. So.
Yep.
Right.
I'll be there for sure. Hopefully, this guy will join me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Come join us.
Well, we enjoyed this. This was a really great time for us to be able to express ourselves. And
Also, our first time being interviewed for Flimflam and Gorky. So
yeah.
So you got a couple pre-premieres already.
I know. We got a lot.
It's our honor. I think you guys are gonna like blow up really big, and you're gonna be like, it will be like
household names.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna be on like lunch boxes.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Not us,
but Flimflam and Gorky.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be creepy.
Yeah.
Kids are all, who are these old guys? That's no lady, Gorky.
Wait. That's a mound.
All right, hold on. That's not a lady. Sorry.
Stop with that.
Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. That's not just a lady, Gorky, but she's Saoirse.
Shawshank.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. That's not just a lady, Gorky, but she's Saoirse. What is wrong with me? Okay, now we're gonna look at each other. Did you ever notice that before?
It's a first for me.
Where you go?
Oh no!